Have you ever had one of those mornings where you look in the mirror and your skin just looks muted?
Muted is the perfect word for it.
Yeah, it's not necessarily breaking out, but it's just flat, tired, and it completely lacks that internal dewy glow. We call that dull skin.
It's the ultimate visual thief. Our skin is engineered to reflect light uniformly across its surface, but when it's dull, that light reflection is shattered.
Shattered. How so?
Well, it happens because of a trifecta of issues on the very top layer.
Uh-huh.
Chronic dehydration, excessive dead cells piled up, and a compromised protective barrier that just can't hold moisture in.
Okay, let's unpack this. This isn't just an aesthetic inconvenience that, you can fix with better makeup.
Not at all.
The research shows it's often an early and visible signal of underlying systemic issues. Our mission today is a deep dive into exactly why your skin loses that vital light, from atmospheric toxins to specific UV damage to hormonal stress,
And then what we can actually do about it.
and what targeted science-backed strategies we can use, both at home and professionally, to restore that vibrancy.
And this isn't a niche problem. We're looking at a global phenomenon here.
Really?
Yeah, data shows that about 30% of adults will deal with a period of dull skin that they actively try to fix. And once you hit 40, that number jumps.
How much?
Nearly 50% of people notice significantly less radiance, mainly due to the natural slowing of cell processes. It is consistently ranked as one of the top 5 skin concerns worldwide.
Wow. So if you're listening and wondering, is my skin truly dull or just a little tired? What are the specific visual hallmarks we should be looking for?
That's a great question.
Like, what's the difference between simple fatigue and actual dullness?
Visually, it appears pale, almost sallow, sometimes slightly ashy or gray, and that's regardless of your inherent skin tone.
And why that color change?
That color issue is a direct result of two things. First, poor circulation means less oxygenated healthy blood near the surface. Second, that dead cell buildup creates a physically uneven canvas that actually absorbs ambient light instead of bouncing it back.
I often think of dullness being linked purely to texture. Is that the most important indicator?
Oh, it's highly important, yeah, because it relates directly to hydration. When the skin barrier is struggling, the texture becomes rough, dry, maybe even flaky.
And that lack of moisture makes wrinkles look worse.
Dramatically
Huh.
more pronounced. That lack of moisture retention diminishes the skin's turgor, its plumpness. Remember, a hydrated, plump surface reflects light perfectly. A rough, dehydrated surface scatters it randomly, which leads to that flat appearance.
And we noted the double impact of lifestyle issues. When you're stressed or sleep deprived, you get the dull look, plus dark circles and puffiness.
It's a fatigued look amplified. That's the compounding factor. Stress triggers vasoconstriction, the tightening of blood vessels, which stars the surface of crucial oxygen and nutrients.
Leading to a visibly fatigued look that even the best moisturizer can't mask.
Exactly.
Beyond just natural aging, our sources highlight some surprising demographics that are particularly prone to this. Who is most vulnerable?
We see two pretty distinct groups driven by environment and lifestyle. First, you have the urban dwellers.
City living?
Anyone exposed to prolonged levels of air pollution and atmospheric contaminants. These microscopic particles, they don't just sit on the skin, they actively erode the protective lipid barrier.
So they're causing damage on a micro level.
Yes, causing microinflammation that accelerates skin aging and dullness.
So the skin barrier is basically fighting a tiny, invisible war against the environment all day.
All day, every day. Exactly. And the second critical group is about 20% of young adults, and this is regardless of their inherent skin type.
So even people with oily skin.
Even them. Their dullness is driven almost entirely by chronic high stress and the resulting lack of sleep. Their biological machinery is fighting against their lifestyle, which restricts blood flow and halts the regeneration needed for that 20-something glow.
What's fascinating here is how these factors compound. It's almost never just one thing.
Dullness is rarely caused by a single issue. It's a breakdown in multiple systems, which is why a deep dive like this is so necessary. We need to look beyond the surface to the deeper systemic and lifestyle mechanisms at play.
Okay, so our sources gave us 8 primary causes, and we can cluster them nicely. Let's start with the cluster around moisture and barrier function. I'm guessing cause number 1 is dehydration.
You got it. But we need to clarify the difference between simple surface dryness and true dehydration that impacts radiance.
Okay, what is it?
True dehydration means the entire epidermis, that whole top layer of your skin, lacks adequate water content. It makes the skin feel tight and rough. But crucially, this lack of water damages the structural integrity of the skin barrier.
And that leads directly to that crusty layer of dead cells just sitting there.
Piled up, literally hiding your natural radiance.
And that ties directly into this technical concept, transepidermal water loss, or TEWL. I
Right.
named it earlier, but if TEWL is happening, what's the difference between that and just, normal evaporation?
So TEWL is the passive necessary loss of water vapor that happens naturally. But when the skin barrier is compromised, say by skipping moisturizer, which is cause number 2, or
Right.
using harsh soaps,
Right.
the protective lipid layer gets stripped and TEWL skyrockets. This rapid, uncontrolled water loss doesn't just make the skin dry, it completely disorganizes the cellular structure.
And that creates massive texture irregularities that scatter the light.
Precisely. And while TEWL itself is just water loss, a compromised barrier absolutely increases your susceptibility to environmental toxins and irritants, which just exacerbates the inflammation and damages the skin even more.
So moisturizer isn't just about feeling soft. It's about physically holding the skin's architecture together so it can function properly.
Exactly. And factor 3 is simply having a naturally dry skin type. You just inherently lack the sebum, the natural oils, to properly lubricate and seal the surface. This creates those micro-texture irregularities and a chronically drab appearance.
Okay, let's move into the second cluster.
Huh?
The environmental and biological stressors. These often have a more chronic, cumulative impact. Aging is factor 4. We already mentioned the slowdown in cell turnover. Can you quantify that? How much does it slow down?
It's significant. I mean, when you're young, that cellular renewal cycle might take 28 days. It's constantly shedding the old and revealing new, vibrant cells.
And when you get older,
As you enter middle age and beyond, that window can stretch to 40, 50, even 60 days. The result is a much thicker, duller layer of dead cells just sitting on the surface for longer.
making the skin inherently less supple and radiant.
That's right.
Okay, factor 5. Sun exposure. We all know it's bad, but we need to break down the specific mechanisms. How exactly does UV light cause dullness beyond just a sunburn?
Great point. We have to distinguish between UVA and UVB. UVB causes the sunburn, that superficial damage, but UVA penetrates much deeper into the dermis.
And that's the one that causes aging.
UVA is the primary accelerator of photoaging. It generates free radicals that destroy collagen and elastin, structurally degrading the skin's underlying support network. This results in hyperpigmentation, uneven dark spots, and a worn texture that visibly reduces brightness. It's a daily assault.
Okay, next up, a factor with immediate and severe consequences, tobacco use. Smoking seems to attack radiance from, every angle.
It's a complete assault on the skin's circulatory health. First, the nicotine immediately constricts your blood vessels. This leads to chronic low oxygen and nutrient delivery. That's the classic pale, sallow smoker's complexion.
And the biological side.
Second, the toxins accelerate the activity of these enzymes called MMPs, which actively break down the skin's existing collagen and elastin faster than your body can repair them. It physically ages and dulls the skin from the inside out.
Factor 7 is the modern epidemic, lack of sleep. So if tobacco restricts our internal machinery, then lack of sleep prevents that machinery from ever repairing itself.
That's a perfect way to put it.
How does missing, say, 4 hours of rest actually translate into a dull complexion the next day?
The skin's regeneration process peaks during your deepest sleep cycles. This is when cell repair, collagen production, and antioxidant deployment happen most effectively.
So you're cutting that repair window short.
Exactly. Your body prioritizes vital organ function over skin renewal, leaving you with poor circulation and a visibly fatigued, pale, and slow-to-heal appearance.
And finally, chronic stress, which feels like the thread connecting so many of these issues. We hear about cortisol, but what is that hormone actually doing to our skin on a molecular level?
Cortisol is the stress hormone, and its impact is profoundly dehydrating. High cortisol levels hinder skin renewal, but the key mechanism here is that it decreases the production of natural hyaluronic acid within the skin.
So it dries you out from the inside.
It does. When you have less internal hyaluronic acid, your skin loses its capacity to bind and retain moisture. That damages the barrier, makes dryness worse, and promotes inflammation. It puts the skin in a perpetual state of defensive damage.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. If we commit to a multifaceted strategy that addresses all these causes, the evidence shows we can absolutely reverse this.
And often quite quickly. The solution has to be an integrated, consistent approach. You have to fix the internal lifestyle factors while providing targeted external support. It's all about optimizing the skin's own natural functions.
Let's break down the 7 key actionable steps, starting with, Hydration.
Right. You need to hydrate both internally and externally. Internally, drinking enough water helps support lymphatic function, flushes toxins. Externally, you need high-quality moisturizers with potent humectants.
Like hyaluronic acid?
Hyaluronic acid, glycerin, things that attract and bind water to the epidermis, plumping up those skin cells so that they reflect light evenly.
Second, let's tackle sleep debt. Beyond just getting 7 or 8 hours, what's a subtle tip that research points to for improving circulation overnight?
A subtle but effective tip is to consider elevating your head slightly while sleeping.
With an extra pillow.
Exactly. This uses gravity to encourage lymphatic drainage and improve circulation around the face, which can noticeably lessen morning puffiness and that pale, stagnant look.
Number 3 is exfoliation. This is essential for removing that crusty layer of dead skin. Now, many people swear by physical scrubs,
I know.
but the data suggests chemical exfoliants are better. Why should someone ditch their favorite scrub, which feels effective, for an acid they might be wary of?
Because physical scrubs, with their irregular edges, often cause micro tears and unnecessary inflammation. They can actually damage the delicate barrier we're trying to repair.
Whereas chemical exfoliants are more gentle.
They work without friction. Take glycolic acid, an AHA. It chemically dissolves the glue that holds dead skin cells together, allowing them to slow off uniformly and revealing the fresh, highly reflective skin beneath.
And for our audience, what's the quick difference between AHAs like glycolic and BHAs like salicylic acid?
The key difference is solubility. AHAs are water-soluble, so they work on the surface for texture and tone. BHAs like salicylic acid are oil-soluble, meaning they can get down into the pore lining.
So for general dullness, AHA is the way to go.
Generally, yes. AHAs like glycolic are superior for tackling broad-spectrum surface radiance and eliminating that general buildup.
Fourth, face serums. These are the heavy hitters. Our sources strongly highlight vitamin C and niacinamide. Give us the deep dive on vitamin C.
Vitamin C, specifically L-ascorbic acid, is non-negotiable for brightness. It's a powerful antioxidant that neutralizes free radicals from pollution and UV.
And it brightens, right?
It actively brightens by inhibiting the enzyme responsible for pigmentation. Plus, it's critical for boosting new collagen synthesis. The challenge is it's highly unstable.
I've heard this. It goes bad quickly.
It degrades rapidly when exposed to light, heat, or air. That's why you have to look for products in opaque, air-restrictive packaging and use them quickly. Otherwise, you're just applying an inactive product.
Fifth, be gentle. We cannot overstate this, given that the root of the problem is a compromised barrier.
Absolutely. Aggressive scrubbing, forceful washing, harsh soaps. They all strip away those precious natural oils and damage the skin's lipid matrix. Use lukewarm water only. Hot water is a major culprit.
Sixth, specialized care like face masks.
Masks, especially those with high-powered humectants or brightening ingredients like turmeric or vitamins, offer a concentrated dose of moisture and antioxidants. Use them once or twice a week to complement the deeper work of your serums.
And rounding out the home routine, the non-negotiable step 7,
Daily, broad-spectrum SPF.
every single day.
If you use vitamin C and glycolic acid to repair the damage, but then you walk out the door unprotected, you are perpetually cycling through damage and repair without ever gaining ground. SPF is mandatory. It prevents the UV damage from starting in the first place.
Okay, so what if someone has been consistent for months, their home routine is solid, but the dullness is just stubborn?
If home care plateaus, professional treatments can target deeper accumulated damage. Things like chemical peels, which offer a much deeper controlled exfoliation.
And things like microdermabrasion.
Microdermabrasion for intense surface exfoliation, yes. Then there are specialized services like the hydrofacial, which cleanse, extract, and infuse nutrients far more effectively. And of course, laser treatments to boost deep collagen.
And finally, when do we stop treating this as just a skin problem and start treating it as a medical problem?
You absolutely must consult a doctor when the dullness persists despite high-quality, consistent home care, or if it's accompanied by severe symptoms.
What counts as severe?
Pain, uncontrolled redness, or a rapid, noticeable shift in pigmentation, like persistent melasma.
Why is that distinction so critical?
Because persistent dullness may signal underlying systemic health problems. The research points out this could be poor circulation, undiagnosed hormonal imbalances, or severe specific vitamin deficiencies.
Things that need a medical diagnosis to fix.
And internal treatment, yes.
This has been a really comprehensive look at not just the symptom of dull skin, but the science behind the loss of radiance. The key takeaway here seems to be that dull skin is the visible reflection of a compromised barrier and sluggish cellular processes.
primarily accelerated by lifestyle stress and relentless environmental exposure.
And the solution is highly integrated.
It is. We have to protect against external threats, provide deep, consistent hydration, and gently stimulate those cellular processes. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the state of our skin's radiance is a very visible indicator of our overall internal discipline.
How well we're managing hydration, sleep, and chronic stress.
Exactly.
And that leads us to the final provocative thought we want to leave you with, pulling directly from that discussion of stubborn systemic root causes.
hmm
We established that chronic, stubborn dullness can be a sign that the body is lacking something essential that no topical product can fix.
Right. So beyond the surface level intervention of serums and peels, what role might ruling out specific essential nutritional deficiencies like in vitamin C, E, iron, or B12 play in truly maximizing skin radiance? If the surface isn't responding to the best care, the problem might be rooted in a deficiency your diet on your moisturizer needs to fix.
Something to chew on as you craft your next self-care routine.